Hi, guys. Welcome back to Scripts and Screens podcast. This is season 1, episode 6. I'm your host, Imani Nicole.
And I'm Ashana Robinson.
And welcome back, guys. We know you guys saw that we had some technical difficulties and that both episodes were going to be dropped tomorrow, as in Thursday. We've had some more technical difficulties. So this one will drop Thursday. We'll record again and drop another one on Friday. We're working human beings. Things happen. So we're
actually recording on Saturday. So when we drop it, I guess Sunday. I don't know. It'll be dropped. It'll be dropped before the other one, and then we'll be back on track. It's me. I apologize. I started.
No, it's fine. It's all good. Yes. Like Ashana said, we're not gonna let y'all stress us out. Y'all not even stressing us out. We just are putting too much. We're stressing ourselves out, but we realize like it's okay if things don't go exactly as planned every time. It's fine. It's life. So what did you do for Valentine's Day?
So these past 2 weekends, I took my grandma out. Well, we all took her to brunch for her birthday. She's 70-something, don't get me lying. She really liked that. She had never really been out with just the girls, like her daughter-in-laws, her granddaughters. So she really appreciated that. And then I had a Galentine's dinner to go to.
So cute.
Yes. In, where was it? Oh, Richmond at Sedona Tap House, which I really enjoyed. And the prices were not bad at all.
What kind of food is it?
It has steak. I mean, just like I had.
It's like American.
Yeah, I had stuffed shrimp, and it was so good. The garlic butter over the mashed potatoes. I mean, it was like $25, but it tasted.
Was worth every bit.
Right, because most time when it's like cheaper food, I don't know. It kind of tastes cheaper, but no, it was good. And then for actual Valentine's Day, I did nothing. I just worked. Vlad came down and my mom threw a Galentine's and he was like, him and Ashton were the only guys here. But yeah.
That's cute.
It was good. What about
you? Okay, so you know how you were saying like, oh, don't get me lying about my grandmother's age, right?
Yes.
So I was talking to a person and we were having like a mini debate and he was like, what year was your mom born? And like, I know the year that my dad's born and I always just add 8 years to it because they're 8 years apart. And he was like, you don't know what year your mom was born? Like, that's weird. And I'm like, is it? Like,
yeah,
I don't think it is.
I was not there, sir. Like, what do you mean?
Right. And he was like, I think everybody, 95% of people know the age of their parents. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't care. Like, I don't know why people like to argue with me. But speaking of that.
They do. They really like to.
They really do. I think because I'm reactive. I need to probably stop being so reactive. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know what year their parents were born. Like, I think I just figured out, like, I think just within like the past 5 years, I really knew my parents' year. It's like in college when you had to fill out all the forms and stuff, that's when you have to like start knowing your parents' date of birth and things like that. But it was no need. I know the date. I don't know the year, but I know the month and day. And that's all that matters.
That's all
because my parents, as far as I'm concerned, are 20 years old and are never getting old and are never going to die.
My mom, she literally was 29 for like 10 years. So I never know how old she actually is. But now that I'm 29, I'm like, why would she want to be this age for 10 years?
Right.
Because this is not a fun age.
It's not the golden years for sure. The 20s, I think, are the hardest years of your life. For my weekend on Valentine's Day, same as you, I did nothing. I actually worked. So I went to work. And then the day before Valentine's Day on Tuesday, me and my girlfriend, me and Brianna went out to a Urban Roast. It's like a restaurant in DC, American dining too. And we did like a Valentine's Day dinner, me and her. And it was cute. Like, they have great cocktails. The food's okay, but like the cocktails are always 10 out of 10. And she got a mocktail and she said it was really good.
Okay.
I did not get a mocktail and it was good. So we had like gotten our pictures and stuff, and like they have like it's decorated, so they decorate for all kinds of things. Like they do Christmas, and it's like super duper decorated for that too.
Them on like TikTok, Instagram Reels.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Cocktails look really cute.
Yeah, because it's super extravagant. Yeah. So we took pictures. Well, when we first went over there was a group of girls taking pictures. So we're like, okay, all right, hopefully they're going to wrap up soon. There was like other people taking the girls' pictures. So then they they had stopped taking pictures. So Brianna runs over to get like some flicks. And you know, in typical fashion, like you want to see so you can see what you want to change and correct. So I like literally took maybe 3 pictures of her. I was like, okay, look at them. Or she might have said, can I see them? And I was like, see how you want to change it. So she looked at my phone, and like literally in the 5 seconds she's doing that, this group of 5 girls comes back and is taking pictures again, then asks me to take photos.
Some people literally live for the validation of Instagram. So it's like,
yes,
that's their personality. That is literally their personality. Let's go out and take pictures. They have nothing else to do, but that is still rude.
Yes, and I'm just like, y'all just had the floor. Right. Y'all not done?
Right.
So then I'm like, sure.
Like, exactly. 2, okay, but y'all got 5 deep, and all y'all want
5 deep. And then they're like, can you take it? And they're like, does it look good? And I'm like, of course it doesn't. I'm like, no, 5 of your guys' faces has a red light over it, and the other 2's face is normal colored. So they got me moving. They got me going to the left, to the right. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm doing it because it's so weird because like I'm like super annoyed, but like I will still do things even though like, because I don't think anyone,
that was the first
you know what I mean?
I had of you. Yes.
Like, I don't think anybody would be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I took the 2, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, nope, still red. Nope, still red. And I'm like, maybe I'll try to put the flash on. So like now I'm getting creative for them. And I got like a couple decent ones, but it was like, you guys have 5 people and you know how it's set up like red light because of Valentine's Day. So like really it's only intended for 1 or 2 people to take a picture, not 5. So they finally finish, but they didn't really finish. This other big ass group comes through and basically just bullies them out the way. So then they start taking pictures. And mind you, like, I don't know if it was this girl's birthday, if it was like, I don't know. It was a group of mixed majority women and like a sprinkle of dudes. But this girl had a photographer. We're talking a Nikon with the flash at the top. And I was like, oh, wow.
At Urban Roast?
At Urban Roast, yes. Mind you, me and Brianna just working with the handy dandy iPhone. So I'm like, oh, wow, this is serious. Like, maybe she gets paid for Instagram promotion. I don't know.
Right.
But so then we're like sitting, waiting our turn. And she's like, we're never going to be able to go. I'm like, we're going to go. We're going to get your flick. We're going to get your flick. Because mind you, I had already gotten mine. Because I didn't do mine by like the real decorated stuff. Like I had a few flowers in the background and that was it. And that picture's on Instagram now.
That's really pretty. I saw it.
Oh, thank you. So then this guy that's with this group is like standing near me in my line of sight. And he's like, am I in your way? Am I in your way? I'm like, nah, you good. He's like, you sure? Let me know if I'm in your way. And I'm just like, once again, irritated, like, stop talking to me.
Right.
And so Brianna was getting ready to, like, she wasn't going to cross, but she was like standing and they're like taking pictures here. There's a backdrop. They're taking pictures as the cameraman. And then like, there's the like aisle or hallway that people are going back and forth to their table at. And so Brianna's like standing there. She wasn't going to go. And he was like, excuse you. And she was like, I'm not going anywhere. And he was like, yes, you were. She was like, no, I wasn't. He was like, yeah, you were. And she was like, no, I wasn't. I see you guys are taking pictures. Like I was going to wait. And he was like, you better watch what you say because they do like to tussle.
What?
And I'm like, what?
Nothing that
like, watch what you say because they like,
tussle.
Right. It was way too much. Then this man is now leaning. Like, I feel his sweatshirt on me. And he was like, my bad. Am I on you? And I'm like, nah, it's okay. You're good. But I'm just like, at the same time, I'm like, please get off of me because one thing I'm not about to do is tussle over a man I don't want.
Right.
I won't even tussle over one I do. So I'm definitely not tussling over one I don't.
Right.
So then his wife was like saying things. Mind you, he's at Urban Rose in like spandex and a hoodie. Not my man. My man better not show up to a Valentine's Day, Valentine's dinner with a hoodie and spandex.
Because when you said sweatshirt, I was...
He ran there. I don't know. He wasn't in the Uber with everybody else. But either way, it's not my man. I'm not interested. And then like, I don't know if he said something to his wife, which we later found out was his wife, because she was like, I don't play about my husband, ho. Like, I don't know what, like, it wasn't necessarily that phrase, but she said something out loud about her husband. And I, like, literally was texting Brianna, because, like, you know when you want to say some shit, but you can't because you're in public. Right. So I'm, like, texting her, and I'm like, no one. And I repeat, no one wants your husband. Like, please. Like, I don't know. It's just sad that, like, sometimes the worth of women is, like, based on a man. And it's just like, honey, I don't want nothing to do with it. Trust me. You don't have to worry about this one at all.
Right.
At all. And then like, because we got tired of waiting for them, because when I tell you they were taking pictures for like 15, 20 minutes, the lady was like, well, there's other backdrops throughout the restaurant. So we started walking, and like as we're walking, the girl that said that stuff about her husband and her husband, they're twerking in the middle of like the aisle that people are going to get back and forth. And I'm just like,
Oh
my
my God.
ancestors did not go through what they went through for this. This is not what they worked for. And I'm just like, and even after we start discussing our topics, like it just is really lately, all the things I've been watching, like I have to do more. I'm not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was the highlight. Like I'm not doing enough, but I'm not doing that.
Right.
So
Correct.
I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? Like they're probably not the happiest with me, but they're definitely not the most upset with me either.
Right. Right.
Oh my goodness. So moving on to the Super Bowl. Did you watch?
Yes. Child,
Okay.
I fell asleep after the second quarter.
Oh my God, that's when it actually started to get good. I don't blame you for falling asleep though, because the commercials were mid. Nothing was like super funny. And the game itself was mid too. Like it wasn't very exciting. And it was taking place in Las Vegas. It was the Chiefs versus the 49ers. And that game did go into overtime. So it kicked up. So wait, who were you going for? 49ers or Chiefs?
Oh, it didn't matter to me.
You didn't care. Okay, I was going for the Chiefs and they won. So I was happy about that. So what did you think about Usher's halftime performance?
I think, well, of course I fell asleep, so I had to watch this like the next day.
Yeah.
But I think he did a lot in that little 13 minutes. Like
For sure.
He has such a large catalog. And then the fact that he like packed everything down, I think he did a really good job. They were saying like, the Mandela effect, you know what that is?
No, what is that?
It's like
I've heard of it, but I can't remember what it is.
It's like when you remember something, but there's like no evidence of it, if that makes sense.
That sounds like deja vu.
Well, deja vu is kind of like you feel like you did something, like you're doing something again. But this,
Okay.
like what's an example of Mandela effect? Like Shazam. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
It
with
was like
with the magical guy.
Was it Shaq for you? Was it Shazam?
Yeah, with Shaq with Shazam, I thought.
They said it was no Shaq, and you cannot find it anywhere if you Google. But everyone has this memory of it being a Shaq movie like that.
Yes, it was back in the day when we were
try
kids.
to Google it, and you will find nothing. And then it's certain things like you look at like Fruit of the Loom, and they've adjusted, and it's like, did this really happen, or how do we collectively have the same memory? Well, anyway, they said they did the Mandela effect with Alicia Keys' performance because she hit the wrong note live, but they tried to edit it in the video. But I didn't see it live, so I don't know. I can't compare to see if.
So I watched the halftime show, but like I was doing other things. So like I got out of the car. My phone actually was dead. Got out of the car to order Five Guys, so I missed it. And then when I got back in the car,
$50. I know you spent $50.
I did. Can we put a cap? Can there be a cap on the price of something that is so minor? Like, yes, Five Guys is good, but I know they're not using like aged prime rib for the meat. There's no reason. They're not using Wagyu beef. Why is it that expensive? It starts to piss me off, but I still go because I love the milkshake and I do love the burger. I don't even get the fries though, because unless I'm with somebody so we can share them, because I will say a little fry can be shared amongst two. And I just get the little cheeseburger because I don't need two patties. But yes, girl, spent an arm and a leg, then got back in my car, started watching it. And when I was watching it, I'm like, this performance is like, okay. But then when I really think about it and I think about Usher's age, I think I have to think about my knees and like my body, and it's not the same. So like I thought that it was going to be like 22-year-old Usher moving out there like Michael Jackson going crazy, and it wasn't. But after like, realizing like I can't even be from the place to judge because I am not a performer, I realized that it was actually very good, and I loved the roller skates. The roller skates was a very nice touch, very different.
Yes.
And I loved that. And I saw something online that was saying that like he tried to get Justin Bieber to do the Super Bowl. Yes, but Justin, I don't know if Justin said no or what happened with that, but Usher came out. The article said that they're working on something else in the future. And I didn't know that in 2008, Usher and Scooter Braun signed Justin Bieber to his first deal as a part of their joint production venture called the Raymond Braun Media Group.
I did not know that either.
I did not know that. And I found that information out on the Grammys website because I was looking up like just all of Usher's accolades, and he has 23 nominations and 8 wins. Okay. So I think he will go down as like, one of the best.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Up there with the Michael Jacksons and the Prince and those kind of people of the world.
Justin Bieber has been low key too. like for a
He
while.
has.
Like
He
especially
really
since he got like
has.
married, he just kind of been ducking. Avery calls herself a
Yeah.
Justin Bieber fan. Like she be acting like I don't
I'm
know nothing about Justin Bieber. I'm like,
weak. Like, girl, we knew Justin when he had
yes,
the
yes, the
skater
swoop,
hair.
yes.
Yes, like that's the Justin we know. Y'all know that Justin.
Right,
Now they just know the Justin that never is dressing to the aesthetic of his wife. That's the
right,
Justin that
right.
she knows, that Avery knows.
Yes,
She doesn't know the one that the baby at the amusement
right,
park Justin.
right. The middle
She don't
school
know that.
dance, Justin
She don't know
Bieber.
the P Diddy Justin. Okay.
Yeah, but he can't tell her nothing. You can't tell her
Believe
nothing.
it. I believe it. She get it from her mama. She get it from her mama.
Right.
So you don't got nobody to blame but yourself. I already know when I have kids, they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, she's just like her mama," and
And
is
it's so annoying because you can't be mad. I mean, you
right,
have the right to be mad, but it's
right.
like you're irritating me for the same reasons I probably irritate other people. So
No,
it's just like,
literally. I
calm
be
down.
thinking about that too. When I like
Mm-hmm.
it, I'm like, because they say that psychologists say 9 times out of 10, the things that irritate you and other people, you do,
Mm-hmm.
which is so interesting how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the commercials, what was your favorite one that you watched or saw?
Well, my choices were very limited because I fell asleep. But of course, I enjoyed the Beyonce commercial. She doesn't really pop out for stuff like this, so I think the world kind of goes crazy when she does. Her acting
Yeah,
has
y'all
gotten a
really
lot
do.
better. It's gotten a lot better. I was excited for that.
So, based on the, because there was like debates about I keep hearing different things. So, was the commercial an album announcement or a tour announcement?
I'm honestly not sure.
Because I keep hearing both. Like, oh, she's going. I was like, wasn't she just on tour? And then
I don't
someone
think
said
it's
it
about
was
the
an
tour.
album, and she's doing a country album.
Yeah, I think it's a country album.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. The tour, I don't think. Because, yeah, like you said, she just got off tour. So she'd have to do the album, then drop the album, then announce a tour.
Yeah.
But no, she looked good. I saw her in like pictures of her in the little box. And she
Yeah,
said
she
this is what
did.
Kylie Jenner been trying to achieve for, for
I
the
saw
surgeries.
that. I saw that. The world, including myself, we don't give the Kardashians no break. Foot be on their necks all the time.
I think if they weren't like appropriating, we'd leave them alone. Like if they just were in their white
Yeah.
woman lane, but they try to come over
Yeah.
into the black lane and act like they ain't done nothing. Like, no, ma'am,
Yeah.
we know. But I liked the Chris Pratt Pringle commercial. That was cute. Like he's ordering, like he's buying Pringles at like a gas station, and the girl looks at the can, and they have like matching mustaches, and she's like, "You look like the Pringles can," and he like goes viral. That was cute. What else? Quinta Brunson looked good in her TurboTax commercial.
Okay.
Temu to whatever they came with a
Temu.
budget. Temu, yes, they came with a budget because I saw their commercial like 3 times before I fell asleep.
Yes, that was my first time seeing it, but somebody was
Yeah.
telling me that commercial is out. Like that wasn't there. They just dropped like 4 of them on during the Super Bowl, but that
Yeah.
commercial's already out. Then they were saying that they're under investigation, just like Shein.
Oh.
I don't think for racketeering, but like they got some other stuff going on. I don't know. I don't know what the Asian companies be doing.
They be having the little. Well, let me not say that. But
Like
they
you gotta
always.
catch yourself when you know something gonna be.
Let me stop.
You gotta think twice.
I'm not trying to get canceled early. Just
Right.
speculation. Now, if it come out, I'm gonna say it. If y'all prove it,
Right. Right. Like I was thinking that.
yes. But yeah, so I did not like the Homes commercial. What is it? Home.
Me either. Yeah, it was Homes, and they would like it's like I guess it's a sister company to apartments.com. The
Yeah. Okay.
apartments.com commercial was okay with the aliens, and they were like, we should get a 2 bedroom, so we have a guest room for mom.
Yes. Yeah.
And how he was like, 2 bedroom, I don't want to make assumptions.
Yes.
So I thought that was funny. But then everything else was just super extravagant and way too far fetched with the home commercials. It was pissing me off every time I saw it. Come on. I agree. That was my favorite. That was my worst / most annoying was those commercials, and they had quite a budget too because I saw a couple of them throughout
Yes. Yeah.
the Super Bowl. And then my favorite one was the Paramount Plus commercial. I don't know if you saw it, but it had Drew Barrymore in it, Peppa Pig, Hey Arnold, the Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua. And then Sir Patrick Stewart from X-Men and Thomas Lennon from 17 again. And basically, Tua's like, if it was a football, I could get it up there. And it's like, it looks like Mount Everest to me. I'm sure it's not. It's something else probably.
Tua?
Tua's like, if it's a football, if it was a football, I could get it up there. Then Sir Patrick Sir Patrick Stewart's like, well, what about a football-shaped head? And they're talking about throwing Hey Arnold. Mm-hmm. And then Drew Barrymore is like, you can't throw a kid. And Tua's like, yeah, I'm not throwing a kid. And Sir Patrick Stewart is like, shut your mouth, Drew Barrymore. And then he's like, I'll do it. So then he like takes off, like rips off his clothes. And underneath he has like the old school football uniforms. Mm-hmm. So he throws Hey Arnold, and Hey Arnold's just spinning, and hits the middle of the mountain. He doesn't make it all the way up. So then he's like, if only we had some pig skin. Then they look at Peppa Pig and she's like, oh dear. And I just thought that was so funny and so cute. And I really liked it. So that was my favorite one. That was my favorite one.
That sounds funny.
It was good. But yeah, that was it for the Super Bowl as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. I hope that the Chiefs three-peat in a weird way, because I actually was super against the Chiefs, but I can't deny it. Like, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes,
best without a doubt.
I was just looking at something, they were comparing him to like Tom Brady, I guess because he's so young and the amount of Super Bowls that he's won already. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. My grandma, she only goes for black quarterbacks.
Yeah, I try to do that too. Like, I try to like look, and that's why I went for Patrick Mahomes' team, because Purdy, but their defensive coordinator is black. But I always try to find either a coach or a or a quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know.
Well, let me stop. My grandma, she normally goes for black quarterbacks. I'm not sure if she's going for Patrick Mahomes. No, Patrick Mahomes, but by my grandmother's standards.
Yes.
And his white wife, I don't know if she's definitely a Hurts fan. She was a...
I love him.
Yes, she was a Vic fan. Who else? She used to pull for Jameis Winston a lot.
Oh, yes. You used to love him. Or not love him, but like, didn't you go to school with him or something?
No, I did used to love him. Black.
Yeah, did he go to your school or your high school, or was he from your area? No? Okay.
I think you're thinking Trey Edmonds. I did have a crush on
Trey Edmonds. Maybe. Yes. Okay.
I'm putting all my business out here on Front Street.
Look, it is what it is. Right. But it can hold against you. The men that I was interested in college, that's a whole nother episode.
I was about to say, we got a whole episode. Oh, God. Oh, but I am looking forward to Wicked, Monkey Man, and then A Quiet Place with Lupita. I am looking me too. And I am looking forward to, what was the first one you had said again? Not A Quiet Place, but the other one you said. Oh, Wicked. Yes, because I was looking for that man that they had claimed Ariana wrecked the marriage. Oh, yeah. And then I was talking to people about it, and they're like, oh, he wasn't in the movie. He's in, when she was on Broadway, they were on Broadway together. So I didn't get a chance to see, because I was looking, I'm like, I need to see what, it's looking like. Right.
But what I forgot that we didn't mention was Travis Kelce going off on Andy Reid. And he actually addressed it on the podcast, and he was saying I should never, have bumped him where he stumbles. And then his brother was like, and you shouldn't have been yelling at him like that. Like, that was completely unacceptable. And he was like, yeah, Andy knows I love him. Like, if he stopped playing or if he stopped coaching, I'd retire tomorrow. Like, I love Andy. And I don't know if you saw, but like 2 kids or a kid, I don't remember the number, got shot at their parade.
No, I didn't see that.
Girl, yes. They got shot at their Super Bowl parade, and like Travis Kelce donated $100,000, and Taylor Swift did too. I don't know how much money she put up to the GoFundMe, but Travis Kelce donated $100,000.
Oh, but wow.
A kid, and like Brittany and Patrick went to the hospital to visit the kid or kids. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, Travis Kelce, like, I always just thought he was so fine, but then looking at him at that game, just looking at his face, I'm like, that's just an angry white man. And I just can't. Yeah, my ancestors, we talking about ancestors, they are frowning at me looking at this man with lust.
Right. Like, this is your king? This is your man. Yeah. No. Like, please.
I've always said if I'm happy with my Negro man, but I think Asian is going to be, after watching, The Brother's Son.
Right.
I think Asian would probably be if I stepped out, but that's a big
if.
A big if.
Yeah. My normal type is 1,000,000% African American men, but I'm completely open because they just can't seem to get their act together. So I'm completely open to just about anything, you know, whatever the Lord has in store. But he does have to be cultured though. Like he can't be like oblivious and just say, you know, like slightly racial remarks just because he thinks they're funny. Or if he does, we have to have that kind of relationship, and you can't do it in public. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't even
you
know
know,
if I could do it in private. I don't know.
it depends. Like if he's talking junk about like, I don't know, like one of my cousins or something, and it's in good light fun and it's not too crazy, I think I could, because I
What?
might do the same thing to him.
I thought about one of your cousins. I'm not gonna say it, but it's one cousin that came right to mind.
And you know he'd have a comment about her. Love that girl. You know he'd have a comment. You know
I
he'd have
just
a
keep thinking
comment.
about when we pulled up to the house. Was it my house? Oh no, drop her off, and some
No,
guy
we
was like
dropped her off
hanging
and
in the
we was hiding
trees.
behind a tree. Yes.
I was like, "Are you good? Like, you want me to pull off?"
Right. Like, do you know this man?
Yes. Oh my
Yes,
god.
she's a trip, and she's still crazy as hell, and I love her, and
Really?
she's still, yes,
Oh,
she'll
good.
forever be nutty, but that's what we
Yes.
love about her. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's the crazy one on my aunt's side, and I feel like people say I'm the crazy one on, because between me and my sister, she's way more like milder, like
Mm-hmm.
in her personality than me, but like once you get to know her, she's crazy. But like when you first meet her, she's very quiet, where I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. Like, I don't care if I'm just meeting you or not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it must be a family thing. I think we get it from my granddaddy. He was crazy.
Yeah.
Big granddaddy was crazy as hell. So it makes sense. So let us know about when Abbott Elementary, if it's already dropped or when that's dropping.
Yes. So as of right now, it has already dropped
Okay.
on the 7th, I believe.
It
And
came
it was
out.
only a few episodes when I last looked. It was like the first two. I'm not sure now. It might be the whole season out. But this should be season, don't get me lying on that either. It's early. I think season 4.
Okay. What
Season
is it
4.
on?
Hulu. Hulu is where
Hulu.
I watch
Okay.
it.
Hulu.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
think you can actually watch it on TV. ABC maybe. Again, I do
Okay.
not watch regular TV ever. Like I just be streaming.
Oh my gosh, I watch regular TV
Really?
sometimes. Very rarely, but
Yeah.
sometimes.
So yeah, so I'm excited about that. From what I'm looking at the previews, I think they have Quinta Brunson's character Janine. I think she's like at the superintendent's office this season. So I think
Oh,
they're trying to
okay.
switch it up a little bit with that. Like she's shadowing over there versus her being the elementary school teacher. So that'll be
Okay.
good.
Yeah, we love a switch up if they do it correctly and properly.
Right. So yep. So the first movie that we watched was The Underdogs, which was streaming on Prime, and the description is former NFL star Jason Two J's Jennings agrees to coach a youth football team in his hometown to avoid serving time in prison. So the main character, I'll just tell y'all now, is Snoop Dogg, which y'all would know as soon as you pull it up. In between Snoop Dogg and Mike Epps and these kids, like it was the most cursing I think I've ever heard in a
Yeah.
film in a long time. I mean, it was so cute and funny, but I just was shocked at the amount of cursing. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
my brother said the
from
same
minute
thing. He said it was
one,
way too much for him. Like it was like the way it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be that much. Like
yeah,
we get it, but they overdid it with the
right,
cursing.
right. And I think like it could be a movie you could watch with your kid, but the cursing just like overpowered it because it wasn't anything sexual, really. Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
was they smoked a little weed, but it
Yeah.
was nothing sexual.
And these kids
So
know about that.
right. So it's like you could watch it with your kid, but I mean, it was just like F this, F that, F that, but like from the jump.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked it. It was funny, it was cute. And movies like this, I feel like you never really know the outcome, like a sports movie. It's like, are they going to win or are they going to learn a good life lesson about losing and still having faith? But I did also like the fact that George Lopez was in it. I have not seen him in anything in
In a while.
forever. So
Yeah.
seeing him on that screen was good. Tinka Sumpter, she was
So
cute.
pretty.
Yeah, she was really cute. I didn't really like their chemistry for real.
Me either. It wasn't really there. I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
not at all. But it was a nice touch. She was pretty, so I guess she did what she needed to
Right. She
do.
served her purpose.
Right. What else about it?
It reminded me of like Antonio Brown. Like, you remember when he like threw a
Yes.
fit and then like
Yes.
threw his shirt? Like, that's kind of how Snoop Dogg was as a football player. Like, very reactive.
Narcissist. Like as soon as he
Yes.
came on, I'm like, this man is the definition of narcissist. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was definitely
Antonio
a me, me,
Brown.
me show. Me, me, me show all day long. And that's kind of how, like, it's like a story of him starting to care about someone other than himself.
Right.
And then they ended up losing. I wasn't sure, like you said, they were going to win or lose.
Right.
But I guess it does make sense for them to lose. But was the final game where the ref was paid off and was calling everything, or was that a different game, or was that the Super Bowl game, the like championship?
I think the ref was paid off prior to, but then, the kids got to fighting and hurt the ref. So I think he just had like this vendetta again against them because it was the
Yeah,
same ref from the original game.
yeah,
So they had to sick the dogs on him. They
yeah,
lost.
yeah. They put the dogs on him, and then he's like leaving the game, and he's got like his butt has like a bite
Yeah.
mark out of it and is bleeding. And
Right.
then they brought in a new ref, and I feel like they started to like get their calls going their way, but they still ended up losing. And it just goes to show that like it's so funny, like when you get to certain levels of fame, you're like literally just like trying to show the world you're redeemed, when like really in the real world you don't need to show anybody you're redeemed, you're just showing God. But like it's like once he showed the world that he was different, then he got the show. And it was funny
Yeah.
that it was
He
like
was
Fox.
uncanceled.
Yeah, uncanceled. And it was funny, it was like Fox wanted because like some people like NBC, like they won't come near you once you've done what you've done. It doesn't matter if you're redeemed, they like are never gonna pick you back up. It's like
Right.
Nene Leakes and Bravo. No matter how much we want her on there so bad,
Oh yeah.
it's
They're
not gonna
not.
happen. I don't think.
No.
Maybe it won't, it will, but I just doubt it. Once you like sue the network and like it's over for
Yeah,
that.
because why would they bring? I mean, if you sue me, you ain't got to come back around my way.
Yeah. Like that's a big thing with a lot of companies. If you sue the company, you cannot work for the company. Like it
Right.
just is what it is.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
overall, I
it
liked
was
it
cool.
too. I recommended it to my football coach friends.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something cute to watch.
Yeah.
Nothing really too introspective about it.
Yeah. It's not a deep thinker for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, I did like the fact like the jokes were cute and like his agent was Cal Penn. Yes, his agent was Cal Penn from Harold and Kumar, and he was like, "You Harold and Kumar looking mother effer." But it was funny because we had just watched The Brother's Son last week, and they stayed at John Cho's house, and John Cho is the second part of Harold and Kumar. So I was like, "That's cute."
Yeah.
But I hadn't thought about them two in forever
No,
until I
I
seen
feel
them both
that.
in these back to back things that we watched.
Right, right. Yeah, I haven't. I'm not even seeing Harold and Kumar all the way through.
Yeah, I think it's
But
like
I
the
know
White
it's. I
House
know it's
one,
like a favorite.
White
It's like up
Castle.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, White Castle is the one I've seen bits and pieces of. But I know it's like a fan favorite. Like it's like up there with the Borats and the Napoleon Dynamites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Moving into our next plot and pop, we watched the Book of Clarence. I went and watched it in theaters. Right now, what did you watch it on Prime?
Yes. Yes, I ran it on Prime.
Yeah, so I don't know if one of the networks is gonna pick it up and people will be able to stream it for free, but
You know what? I'm gonna look now because I thought I saw it on
I
Max.
think so too. I think I did see that it was gonna be streaming on Max.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull it
I'll
up.
let you look it up and I'll tell them what it's
Yeah,
about.
go ahead.
So it's about a down on his luck man that's struggling to find a better life for his family while fighting to free himself of debt. Captivated by the power and glory of the rising Messiah, he risks everything to carve his own path to a divine life, ultimately discovering that the redemptive power of belief may be his only way out.
I really like this.
I liked it too. It's got
I really
Lakeith
like this.
Stanfield in it, playing Clarence and Thomas because they're twin brothers.
Yes.
And it's got R.J. Seiler, which is played by Elijah, which is kind of like his fake brother, that family member that's not blood. Then you got James McAvoy, who plays Pontius Pilate, however you say that man, the Roman emperor's name. And then you got Omar Sy, who's playing Barabbas. And then Benedict Cumberbatch, who plays Benjamin, the like ideal Messiah, what we think of Jesus to be. And it's 2 hours and 9 minutes. And yes, it is now streaming on Max. I put it in my notes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's
I don't know why
streaming
I can't see
on
it.
Max. And I really liked the character development of Clarence, like how it went from him
Yes.
being completely a non-believer to a believer.
Mm-hmm.
And the relationship that he had with his brother, who like was an apostle, because
Mm-hmm.
he was trying to become the 13th apostle because he owed Jedediah the terrible money. And so
Mm-hmm.
he kept trying to think of all these different ways. And like while smoking hookah and was floating in the air, he came up with this bright idea. And it made me think about in college where like you would meet those people that were like, I gotta smoke before I study. Like I don't see how anyone could do that. I
What's
don't.
even weirder for me is when they like say that they have to smoke in order to eat. Like at this
Right.
point, the addiction is just really real. And but they never want to admit that they're addicted.
They don't. They're like, you
Never want
can't
to
get
admit they're
addicted to
addicted.
weed. And like they
Yes,
just
but you
swear that
are.
weed isn't a gateway drug. And I'm like, it is. No one
It
just
is.
starts out doing hardcore drugs. I mean,
Right.
9 times out of 10, you started with your very first drug is marijuana
Right.
or alcohol.
Right.
It's not like you go straight to shooting yourself. Like that's not how it works.
Right.
But like if you find a
Right.
true pothead, they will argue with you to the depths that like
Mm-hmm.
they're not addicted, even though they do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I have to do every day.
You know, like shower, brush my teeth,
Right.
eat. You know, the normal stuff.
And
But as
sometimes I
far
don't
as
even
like
eat. I've gone a day without
oh yeah.
eating.
Mm-hmm. If I have a nice iced coffee, that does hold me over for a long while. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was funny because I felt like it was a big social commentary, which I love in any type of way, whether it's like a movie, a show. But it was basically, he was like selling weed, wasn't he? He was like growing lugweed, or he said, him and Elijah.
Oh, see, I didn't even peep that,
So
but
yeah,
possibly. Because
yeah, I
Elijah
think,
stayed with a blunt in his hand the whole
yes.
movie.
Yes. So I'm pretty sure they were just like supposed to be kind of like these dudes just out here like selling weed, kind of bummy, not like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know the type.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it just had little things in there. I think it was just very well written.
Yes.
Again, like I didn't know what to expect with this movie. A lot of people were kind of against it. They were like, it's so blasphemous. This and third, my dad being one of them. But
Yeah.
I think it really turned around being a lot less blasphemous than I thought because, of course, yes, he was trying to be a messiah. But towards the end, he was like, no, I'm not about to give up Jesus to you. I
Right.
believe Jesus rose him up, like Jesus saved him,
Mm-hmm. He was walking on water.
walking on water. So, you know, to show God was there for him, was not going to let
Mm-hmm.
him drown. I think it was interesting how he did not believe in God at all. And of course, his brother did. But they said like his mom was on her deathbed,
Mm-hmm.
but then all of a sudden she wasn't. So I'm like, if she was healed, that was a miracle. Like,
Right. Exactly.
where'd that come from?
Especially in that time where I know medicine like was in its early stages. It wasn't
Right.
like
So
little
she
things
was
I'm sure
really
probably took people out back in those times.
right. So the fact that she came back from being on her deathbed to completely healthy was, I don't know why he didn't believe in miracles. But yeah, I liked how they were harassed by the police, but I didn't like it. But like how it's like the social commentary, the black people, the white police, they're just
Mm-hmm.
harassing them. Let me see ID. They can't even like drive in their chariot through the town without being stopped.
Jared is crazy.
And then like also Amina, which was Clarence's mom, when they crucified him, she said they always take our babies, which is also, you know, how black men are shot by the police in modern
Mm-hmm.
day. Jedediah, which I forgot the guy's last name, but Eric Kofi, he plays Lamar on BMF, one of my
Yes, I've seen
celebrity
him
crushes.
before, but I didn't know where
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it was from, but I've seen he has a familiar face.
Yes, he was describing racist, and he said, "You're just frightened, and there are no oppressors, just weak men." So I really did like that comment because that's how I do feel about even modern day like racists. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're just weak, you're just scared. What about me? The fact my simple existence just ruffles your feathers so
So
much.
much. Yeah. Like my potential scares you because like you
Right,
don't even see it as potential. You see it as your reality and you're like, nah, I can't let
right,
this happen.
right. But I think it was so funny, like how they cleaned up the raggedy looking um, bum hobo. He just happened to
Yes.
be white,
Benjamin.
right? And the fact that he looked so different, they just started calling him a messiah. So he got
Yes.
crucified too. And then the painter character played by St. John, the artist, was like painting him. And that's like how we got the depiction of a
Of
white
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah. And
And
that
he
wasn't
was
even
not.
what right, exactly. But
Yes.
it was like he got a bath and he had the wavy hair blowing, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, that's Jesus!"
Yes.
And he had like coins coming out of his hands. Like
Yes,
every time he came, he was
because
just
the
giving
real
people
Jesus blessed him.
coins.
Yes, which is so
So
funny because it's like I always wondered how we got this white depiction of a Jesus when in the Bible it describes him completely different. Definitely a
yeah,
person of color. I can't say exactly a black man,
right. But it
but
definitely is a person of color.
he's
I
not
agree.
he's not straight haired, blue eyed. So the
Yeah.
fact that they like laughed about it, saying this is how we got the depiction of Jesus, is this man just literally painted just this white man. It was all these black men up here. But
Mm-hmm.
just the white man got painted, and then that's what was passed down as Jesus. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I see more and more of these people on their Lindsay Lohan playing twins.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Shout out to Lindsay with Parent Trap. She set the standard, the golden
She did.
standard.
She did. Because we just talked about last week, Brother Son, the girl played her twin sister.
Oh
And once
yes, she
again, is
did.
playing his twin. They said, we're going to cut the budget. We ain't going to have brothers
No,
and
I
sisters
literally
date
was just
the
saying,
same
thinking
person.
that. Like it's way cheaper to just
Yes.
make y'all identical versus fraternal.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, overall, I liked it. I definitely would recommend. Again, go watch on Max.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah. Oh, Jay-Z was the producer on this. That's
Oh, I didn't
who
know
produced
that.
me. Yeah. That was very
Yeah,
interesting to
between
me.
between Beyonce, Jay-Z, and the Obamas and LeBron, like they're just producing
Yeah,
everything,
he's
and I love
producing
it.
everything.
So I really liked it too. I thought it was really good. I was crying like a baby at the end. Did it make you cry?
Oh, when he was being crucified.
Yeah, and just the leading up to it, like the him walking up the steps and like carrying the cross that he's going to be put on,
Mm-hmm.
and then like him getting a lot of whippings, slashings with the getting whipped. I was
Right.
crying like a baby.
I didn't
Were
cry,
you
but
crying?
no.
You said you did it.
No.
It's like you psychopath. No, I'm. Is it hard for you to cry at movies though?
So the last movie I cried at watching The Creator the second time.
Really?
When she was like, when they were separating.
Um.
Shit.
Oh. And then just to kind of tie up on the Book of Clarence, and I remember you saying how your dad thought that the movie was going to be like very, like have a lot of blasphemous kind of components to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at like how it compares to like actual biblical events, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very few things that were actually like. Basically, this is not a real like. There's no Book of Clarence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we had discussed earlier about the twin brothers. Basically, Thomas in the Bible wanted to see like the miracle acts of Jesus. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like Clarence played the conscious mind of Thomas, like what he was
Right.
actually thinking and things like that. And then even as far as Barabbas, who was the slave of Asher the torturer, in the
Mm-hmm.
Bible, he actually was the slave of the Roman emperor or the Roman king, whatever they call them, Pontius Pilate, which is played by James McAvoy. And
Mm-hmm.
they used to do this Passover tradition where two people were up to be killed and you would pick which one you wanted to be killed. And in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
it was Jesus and Barabbas, and they chose to say Barabbas. So that's why
Oh
Jesus
wow.
was crucified. But yeah, it was just they made like their own little take and own little movie. And I thought they did a really good job with the writing, like you had already previously said.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely would recommend people to go see it. So we'll go ahead and move on into the next thing that we watched on part of our plot and pop list.
Yes, and that was on Hulu. It was called Genius MLK and at MLK/X, and apparently National Geographic does these Genius series where they have like it's a series, but each season is different. Like they had an Albert Einstein one. Uh, who else they had? Did you say Aretha Franklin?
Yep, Aretha Franklin, Einstein, and there was one other person. Oh, Picasso.
Yes, yes. So they really like dive into the lives of these famous people. And I really liked how they compared Martin Luther King and Malcolm X together because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we always were taught that they were these just two separate entities, like polar opposites. But
Yes.
it also goes into like their childhood and their upbringing, which I also enjoyed because, again, when we're taught about them as these figures like Martin Luther, Malcolm X, fully grown political powers.
Right.
But it shows like, okay, childhood, high
Yeah, how
school,
his name was
yeah,
changed.
college. Um, So yeah, I really did appreciate that. Malcolm X is played by Aaron Pierre, who we previously saw in Foe as Terrence. And I hadn't seen him in anything else before that, but hopefully I see him in more coming up because I do like him.
Yes, he's doing great.
Yes.
He did great in this role. Like
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. And then MLK is played by Kelvin Harrison Jr. And I have not seen him in anything else, but I know you did mention you've seen him in a few things.
Yeah, he's in Gully. Yeah, he's in Gully, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's in that movie with ASAP Rocky. He can act.
Yes.
Like I've seen him, like everything that he's played in, he's done very extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
And both movies that I've seen him in had me in tears. Gully and the one with
Oh,
ASAP Rocky, and
really?
they're like on trial. Yes, I think I just cry so easily with movies, but I don't cry really in real life. I don't know. I guess because you actually know people in real life, where in the movie you don't really know the character, you don't know the background. You just, you get an hour and 30 minutes, so you
Right.
just like
So you're
all
more
you have is that to
sympathetic.
go by.
Yes.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. My grace is I extend more grace in the
People you
theater than
don't
I
know.
do in real life.
That is so
But
funny.
yes,
That is so
he
funny.
does really really good in everything he does.
Mm-hmm. But what did I learn? Something that I really did not know is that I didn't know Martin Luther King tried to commit suicide.
Yes, I didn't know that
I didn't
either.
either. And now thinking, like, now that I can see that, like, going through mental stress like that at a young age and never really having it resolved and then being put in the spotlight like he was, that had to
Hmm.
been weighing on him mentally. Because I saw where therapy was offered when he first attempted it, but his parents declined. Of course, that's not,
Yeah,
back in the day, they don't do that. Especially black
right.
people, black boys,
Even
black men.
now, there's still that stigma
Yeah,
with black people in therapy.
right. So I definitely feel like that probably was always in him. And I don't know, I couldn't imagine the pressure he probably was under with being in
For
the
sure.
spotlight. And then when he was stabbed in the chest, like he just had a lot going on.
Yes.
He had a lot
Yeah,
going
at the book sign. Yeah, that was crazy. Like, can you
on.
imagine just being somewhere calmly and just? And I think it's just like the audacity of people to just like come to a sign. Like, what gave you the courage to just stab someone in their chest is
At a book
crazy.
signing.
Yes, and it just shaped. And I think that's where you see where like I think because MLK had those like kind of violent things happen, he took a more non-violent approach
Mm-hmm.
where you're taught that Malcolm X was just super duper like opposites. Like he's the violent one.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they just had different upbringings which shaped the kind of men they were. Like
Mm-hmm.
MLK came from a two-parent household and like Malcolm X did this from no parental guidance. Like he lost his parents at a very early
Right,
age.
both of
He
them.
lost his dad to they presume was the KKK at the time because they were staying on white owned land.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up losing the mom too because the dad was no longer there to stand up for the family when they came back to basically say like you can't be on this land. They just take
Mm-hmm.
her. So then Malcolm X then moves in with his older sister who kind of teaches him how to like get over on people.
Mm-hmm.
And then that ends up shaping who he becomes as an adult. He's basically with white women, stealing and using them to get into places that he probably wouldn't have been led into and
Mm-hmm.
like, taking things from people's homes. He was selling drugs, went
Right.
to jail. And then his brother gave him the Quran and it completely changed his life.
Yeah.
So I think it just goes to show that like the way you're raised does play a super duper impact on like who
Mm-hmm.
you become and things like that. Yes, you can change as we see with Malcolm X, but it was a spiritual change. It wasn't like, he just grew to be a different person. He
Mm-hmm.
literally
Had to go to prison
religion,
and
yeah,
not
religion changed
religion.
his whole perspective,
Yes.
which
And
ended up being Islam.
I think we're just like speaking of what you said about Lord Martin taking a nonviolent approach. I like how it depicted him being scared because I never really saw, like, we're not really taught that. Like, he was so strong. But in the
Right.
show, like, we see his hesitation. After he was stabbed, he tried
Mm-hmm.
to get him to do a sit in. He's like, nah, like, basically, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, like y'all got it.
Yes. And she's like, you needed me out here in the field. Sometimes he was like, I was attacked. Like, you were
Yeah.
not stabbed. I literally was stabbed in my heart. And it showed him like in the bathroom. He thought he was bleeding through his shirt. Like, it,
Yeah, he had a lot of
I'm like,
anxiety about the situation.
yeah. And I think it really made them both real to me. And I really appreciated that. And something
Yeah.
else I appreciated, I liked how they both were courting, their wives. But I thought that Malcolm and Betty's courting was so innocent. It was so cute to
It
me
was.
because they never, like, we saw it was showing like Coretta hanging out at Malcolm's house, which is cool too. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's more
Yeah, there
modern.
isn't, but I get exactly what you're saying because it definitely gave it that they participated in some acts before marriage.
Definitely, yes, definitely. The way she like took off her
Yeah.
stockings while he was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like yeah, what's going on when they at the house. But like Betty and Malcolm, he only saw her at church. He saw her at
Yeah.
church and in public and had to call her and be like, I'd like to see you. Like it was
Right.
just a lot more structured and
Yeah, of
not
how it should
saying
be.
yeah, I'm not saying that my Martin didn't like Coretta, but it was like
Right.
it was just something different about it.
I agree. I think he had more of I think it's like what our parents always tell us, like why would he if he's getting the milk for free, what's gonna make him?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you see the opposite of what you do when you don't give the milk for free.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to take anything from Coretta. We all Corettas. It's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see that like it was a difference in their union and I do see why some people flip and like they change and make that decision because of what they want. So it's like you sometimes have to sacrifice things and sacrifice the things that your flesh may want so that your spirit can really weigh in on the blessings. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that they really did have a spiritual union because we even saw that before Betty, like Malcolm X had a girlfriend who he was involved with and they were like super duper close before he went to jail. And then when he got out of
Mm-hmm.
jail, she was even confused why he was even reaching out because she was like, oh, I thought you were into white women. And she worked at a gentleman's club that he actually ended up going to. But once he realized that like you can't live both lives, you have to make a decision of are you
Right.
going to worship Allah? Are you going to continue to give into what your flesh wants?
Right.
And I think when he made the sacrifice, so many things did happen for him due to that sacrifice. And same
Mm-hmm.
thing happened for MLK, but they just happened differently. Like he still got to the end, but in a different way. Like they're just different journeys and paths. And I don't know, they both got blessed in different ways, but I think the blessings came at different times due to different sacrifices at the time.
Mm-hmm. Completely, yes. And this was my second time hearing about Rustin. Of course, the first time was
Yes.
when we watched his movie, which was really good, Coleman Domingo. But again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I never heard of this man until 2024.
Me either, and that's sad. And now I feel like I
Yeah.
need to redo my whole like I'm literally like trying to like when I'm on my Libby app, I'm literally like looking at Black history books. Like I feel like it's my responsibility now to learn the real history and
Yeah.
to know what really happened.
Mhm. And even like this showed where Malcolm, Lord, I keep saying Malcolm, Martin was just thinking about
I was
like
doing that too.
the Montgomery bus boycott. And it was Rustin who was like, no, you can be bigger than this. And again, this is another perspective showing how influential he was in the civil rights movement. Never
Mm-hmm.
heard of him until I'm during their 30, which is crazy.
Yeah, because March on Washington, that famous speech that they tell us about, the "I Have a Dream" speech, is because of Rustin. Rustin put together that march,
And then
so it's like
he
it's
organized that.
insane. Like I know Rustin's family, like I'm sure, like the godly part of them is like, you know what, we don't even care. Like we know what he did, and that's all that matters. But I'm sure another part of them is like, it's crazy that but also like the government pushed Malcolm. And I do feel like MLK played more of like what people would call it the white man's game versus what Malcolm X played.
Right.
Like you said, Malcolm always wanted to play it very safe. Like even with the buses, even with
Oh,
the
Martin.
march.
Martin.
Martin, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
It's so
See,
easy.
I'm about to
It's
just call him
them.
MLK because
Yes.
MLK and X, because I'm not doing it. So with MLK, you know, like you said, the lady had brought up all that. And then even when the same thing happened in this show with Rustin, where like basically he's brought to his attention and Rustin is like making jokes about it. MLK doesn't stand up for him. Like, I don't care what they say. Like, I know who you are. I know who I am. Let's go out here and change the world. He gives in to that. Like, oh, what are they going to think? We can't make movements with the White House or make movements with this if they believe me to be associated with a gay man.
Right.
So he kind of was like, yeah, you need to resign. Like, yeah, I think you should resign. And it's kind of like where I don't think X would have done that, but I also think that with that religion, that wouldn't have been accepted in that religion either. But I still think that like if X believes something wholeheartedly, nothing would be able to like perception wouldn't be able to change him into not doing something like.
Right.
And I do think that X gave MLK a little bit of fire under him when he called him out on TV, like basically
Uncle
saying you guys
Tom.
are building your movement off of Black women, which, you know, and I loved that. Like, I don't know, like Malcolm X, like the Islam was speaking to me in the movie. Like
Yeah.
it was really speaking to me where
Had
they
me
were
ready
like
to switch. Had me ready to switch. I would
ready to
have folded.
convert.
I would have folded.
I would fold it too. Let me have been in one of them rallies and he was talking. It would
Yeah.
have completely resonated with me because he was talking about how black women are the most disrespected, neglected, unprotected women. And that is so true. And I felt that with Malcolm X more than I did MLK, only because like even when you looked at MLK with Coretta when he brought her home, he didn't really stand up to his dad in front of Coretta. He had like a private conversation with his dad, which I get because it's respect. But then I also get it from her point of view where like when you get married, the Bible even says you're supposed to leave your family. Like that this is your new, this is your new obligation. Right. So I do feel like if you saw her as your wife, you should have stood up for her there. And I could feel where Coretta was coming from. Like, yeah, I'm packing. I'm out. Right. Like, I'm good. I don't want somebody that's. And I think MLK really cared about his dad's opinion. Like, his dad basically set it up for him to follow in his footsteps. Like, okay, you're going to be a preacher, a reverend too. You're going to do, you know what I mean? Like, he went to college. Malcolm X didn't go to college. While MLK is achieving more education, Malcolm's in jail. Right. You know what I mean? Like they had completely different background in childhood and upbringings.
And I like how they showed that together. Like
Me
they
too.
showed him graduating. They showed him being released from prison. Like
yes,
they really did this well. The soundtrack was good.
Yes, it was. I loved the soundtrack. Yeah.
Like I did not expect to be seeing a clip of Malcolm X and then hearing ASAP Ferg in the background. Like I did. It was,
and I loved it.
Yes, it's really, really well done. So
if you I really love this.
Yeah, if you haven't started watching this, y'all got time because we got a few more weeks to finish up.
Yes, it's so good.
Informational, entertaining.
And I would have never watched something like this. And I hate that's like that. Our brains, and I think this is what they're talking about when they talk about like the sexy red music and things like it's so important what you feed your brain because like I don't even go for things like this. Like I'm watching like Love is Blind and I'm watching like everything romance and like nothing that's like seriously deep rooted in history. But whenever I watch them, I do like them. So like I gotta stop going past them when I'm scrolling. Like I will need to start clicking and making it a duty to be educated and informed because our ancestors did fight for that. It's the least I can do.
Right.
It's the very least.
Right. And hopefully we get more rest in. And if there are other LGBTQ activists, hopefully they will find their time to shine because Rustin I feel like is finally getting what he deserves.
Yes. 1,000%. He's getting his reparations finally.
Yes, finally. But the last thing we watched, we each chose for each other to watch a show. So Imani chose for me to watch The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and that was on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's correct. It's on Netflix.
Season 1, episode 1. And when I tell you, I was not expecting this to be this dark at all. Like everyone was talking about how blasphemous Clarence was, but Sabrina took the cake.
No, Sabrina takes the cake for sure.
So basically, she is turning 16. She is a half witch, half mortal. So when she turns 16, she's supposed to leave like her mortal life behind and be like baptized. Is baptized like in the blood? I don't even know. Sign her name in the Book of the Beast. Worship the Dark Lord, which is the devil. They literally show like hell and this beast-like creature, which of course in the Bible that's what they describe the devil. I mean, it was dark, but it was good. Like it was dark, but it had enough like lightness to make you not.
They're right on the line.
Yeah, right on that line. Which Sabrina, she was like, cute little girl, which was fun. Her friend was very the series so far, I only watched a couple episodes, but it was very woke as far as like they were talking about banning books, The Blue Aside by Toni Morrison, which is really an issue. It's really banned in schools. I think one of her friends, I don't know if she didn't identify or she just kind of presented as a boy, but she was getting bullied for that. And
I know you're talking about.
They brought that up too. And I think this came out in like 2014, if I'm not mistaken. So that was good to see so far ahead. And then I did recognize one of the girls, one of the witches, don't get me wrong on her name, the black one. I had saw her as Marianne in You. To watch You with Joe?
I do, but I know you're talking about. You talking about the girl with the like curly hair?
Yes.
Yeah. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
She was his love interest for a while. She was love interest. But yeah, overall, I definitely will watch it. I don't know when I'll have time to,
I
but it's
know.
something I would watch. It's something I would
Yeah,
watch. And again,
for
like I
sure.
wouldn't have clicked on this because I had seen the commercials and I just kind of bypassed it. But
Yeah,
I'm
like,
glad you recommended
not
it.
my speed. No, I
Yes.
feel that. So then I watched Ashana's recommendation. She gave me another episode of Atlanta, which I love because I do really like the series. But once again, it's like, where do we find the time to watch this stuff? Right. So I watched season 2, episode 1, which was called The Alligator Man. And the highlight of it was Cat Williams, which she won a Emmy for that performance. And I loved the music. I was like, oh, they got Jay Critch. And I just feel like people don't really know about Jay Critch. And he's like a New York-based rapper. And they had Tay-K on there, who sings that song, Do the Race, or Did the Race, or The Race. I think it's just The Race. See, I'm adding, I'm giving my age. So it was The Race. So I liked that. And then I just liked the components that I saw in it. Like, which is played by Childish Gambino, getting his cousin's girl mixed up, calling her one name, and then saying, oh no, because I went to school with Regina, and like, you remind me of her, like trying to save himself. She's like, boy, please. Like, I know damn well he be having women up here.
Right.
And then I also like that I got to saw the transition because I started later in the episodes with the other episodes Sean had me watch. I got to see the transition of money. Because at this point in time, like, they're in like a little kind of like a trap house is how I would describe it. It's like an apartment, but it's like very low budget compared to like where they're staying in the episode I watched before more seasons in. And it kind of just talks about like how crazy people are in Florida. So like, they have like this thing called the Florida Man. And like in the show, he's responsible for doing a lot of weird things. So like shooting unarmed black teenager, busting into ex-girlfriend's delivery room to fight the boyfriend, beating a flamingo to death, stealing a car and going to Checkers. And then it's just so funny because in the real world, we all like the weirdest things do happen in Florida. And I was looking at just the weird things that have happened in Florida over time, and it's like, man snaps before he beats, kicks, and spits on an elderly man. One lady filmed herself licking a toilet seat in Florida. Another woman was accused of spitting on groceries in Publix. And then at Walmart, there was another lady that was like eating, like chewing guavas, oranges, and other things that were chewable, and then chewing it, then spitting it back in the bins. And it's just like, people are literally insane. Like, they do the nastiest things. But I really do like Atlanta, and I'm going to keep anything. I'm becoming a Childish Gambino fan, and everything he's doing, I'm loving, except for Swarm. I wasn't a huge fan of Swarm. People love Swarm. I couldn't get into it. It was a little like just too much for me. But I do love Childish Gambino. I think he's so cute, and he has a great mind, and I love what he thinks up there and how he puts it to paper. Right. But just closing out this episode, this is a reminder for next week's weekend watch list. We are doing Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the movie, as well as the show, and those both can be found on Prime Video. We're doing Judas and the Black Messiahs, which is on Max, which is the HBO Max streaming network. They keep changing the name, so I got to tell y'all both. Right. And then we also did One Love, which is the Bob Marley biopic, which is in theaters. And then I'll let Ashana close us out and give you guys our Watch Your Shelf reminder.
Yes. So you guys, we are really turning into a Lakeith Stanfield Stan account now that we are it. Childish too, because this is going to be back-to-back Childish. Anyway, but yes, Expats is the name of the show that we're watching, and that is on Prime. And then The Expatriates is the name of the book by Janice Y.K. Lee. Yes. So I got my book. I haven't started reading, but I will definitely catch up. I know Lonnie has started her auto book.
You said 25 pages a day. What have you been doing?
Ocean training.
Oh my gosh. I remember when I had to do that. It is forever. Did you finish it?
No, I have like 7 more. I tried to. Okay, let me not get on telling myself. But yeah, it's going to get done.
Yes, it's going to get done. You got this. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in again. We appreciate you so much, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.